AM 1430 KRGI 105.5 FM. Good morning. I'm Brian Gallagher, a guest in studio today from Central District Health Department. Elizabeth Perez is here to remind us about stuff that we need to be wary of this time of the year because the mosquitoes are starting to show up. And they carry little things called the West Nile virus that we're not a real fan of, so let's figure out how to prevent. First off, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Let's give some good tips so that way folks can try to make this summer as easy as possible, especially when it comes to bugs.
Yeah, absolutely. So West Nile virus, we're all pretty familiar with, but it does come from the Culex mosquitoes. It's probably one of the leading mosquito illnesses in the U.S., and most of the time it has pretty mild symptoms, but to be wary because it can progress into more neurological diseases. So the bite of a mosquito, just some background information, comes from an infected bird that it has already bitten previously and then bites you. So then what we need to do is just be mindful of some of the symptoms. So vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, headache, fevers. Those are the typical mild symptoms and go away with no treatment. When it becomes a little bit more, you might have some complications that you might need to go see a doctor with. And the more severe cases need to be treated with high fevers, neck stiffness, confusion, muscle weakness. But on the good news, there are things that you can do to prevent mosquitoes from biting you.
Let's talk about that.
First off, we want to start with breeding. Mosquitoes like standing water, so just going through your yard and checking for stagnant water, as small as a cap full of soda, flower pots, bird pool or kiddie pools, and bird baths, old tires, old tarps, draining them out. Go walk through it once a week, tip it, drain it out.
Good tip, and then besides, it makes your yard look nicer when you do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they love the shade and tall grass, and it may be a pain, but mowing our grass frequently you really keep them from having spots to hide in.
Here's a tip too, especially in the tall grass. Ticks love that too. So this is another reason to make sure that you keep that grass mowed carefully.
Besides just getting rid of water collection, we want to make sure we're using repellent the correct way. Using EPA-registered repellents, making sure you're following the label, and protecting your kids and yourself. With DEET, pick a carton, allowing it to expose skin and following your label. Don't forget your ankles and your wrists and behind the ears because mosquitoes do not miss any area when they're coming to get you.
And that little noise, that'll remind you, oh, I should have done that.
And we all love camping in the summer, so make sure you're dressing smart, wearing long sleeve, light colors, avoiding times where you're out at sunset and, sunrise, because those are the typical times that they like to bite you. And just making sure you have some screens, to when you have your tents to keep them from entering your sleeping quarters.
Let's review real quickly some of the early symptoms just in case people may have been bitten and then all of a sudden they start to feel a little out of sorts. Some of the early signs that West Nile virus could be something you need to know more about.
Yeah, so fever, headache, body aches, joint pain, vomiting, diarrhea, or a rash, that usually resolves without a treatment. But there can be neurological complications, so meningitis, high fever, neck stiffness, confusion, muscle weakness. You want to seek medical attention.
So keep that in mind because West Nile virus comes and goes, but if it gets to you, do not just ignore it. If you start to see some of these more severe symptoms, go ahead and visit with a medical practitioner and they can get you steered the right way. If folks have questions, can they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a Facebook page that they can go on and kind of look at some of the stuff we post, whether it's about mosquitoes or other stuff going on in our health department. But they can also contact us at 308-385-5175.
Elizabeth Perez from Central District Health Department. Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning from AM 1430 KRGI and 105.5 FM.